with NORML. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for them. These are the people that fight for our rights to do business and to make sure that our laws are changed. It's up to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so if you were here yesterday, you're probably going to hear the same speech again. But my name is Kevin Oliver. I'm the Executive Director of the Washington chapter of National Organization for Marijuana Laws, and I also sit on the National Board as well. As NORML's founder, Keith Street likes to remind people, I smoke pot and I like it a lot. And I think that's something we've all got in common here. Next slide. Yeah, the bong, I smoke pot, I like it a lot better. I'd like to thank the MJBA for allowing me this opportunity to welcome you all to this new budding legal marijuana industry. I would also like to thank David, Morgan, Becca, and Ron for putting this event together, and Magic Butter Studios for offering this facility. NORML was founded by Keith Strop in, next slide. NORML was founded by Keith Strop after he graduated law school in 1968, and he began to work for the Federal Consumer Product Safety Commission. That job put him in contact with Ralph Nader, consumer activist who inspired Keith to create a cannabis group for consumers. And using $5,000 in seed money from the Playboy Foundation, who they were partners with for about 10 years, Street founded NORML in 1970. By 72, NORML became the first group to file an administrative petition asking that marijuana be rescheduled so it could be described as medicine. By 1979, 11 states had adopted decriminalization laws, and now 45 years later, the NORML brand has established a reputation for enormous goodwill. NORML is to the consumer, as Russ was saying, with the good housekeeping seal of approval is to the consumer. Brands such as AARP and Consumer Reports also advocate for consumers. NORML's now blessed to have a lot of reform partners, starting in the 90s and with ACLU, DPA, MPP, into the 2000s with ASA, FAMM, and VOCAM. But none of these great reform groups are saddled with NORML's dual mission of not only working hard to reform cannabis laws for everyone, but to help the current victims of the prohibition laws as well. There's over 700,000 people, next slide please, arrested annually, as you can see from the graph. And we provide help and comfort to 50% of the workers that are still subject to drug testing, both here in Colorado and around the nation. It's a big concern. We get a lot of traffic on our phones and emails, people who are getting caught in this new legal market for smoking marijuana by their employers. There's not a lot we can do at this point. Today, 20 states, including Massachusetts, have enacted laws to legalize medical marijuana. As you know, voters in Washington and Colorado last year legalized the cultivation, sale, and use of cannabis, leading to the state's tobacco, Department of Revenue, and in our case, the alcohol agencies, the daunting task of inventing, regulating, and taxing the country's first legal pot industry, which is why we're all here today. It's gratifying to see the tide turning in favor of legalization after decades of personal and political toil. There's a lot of work to be done and still some scores to settle. For example, over the $750,000 arrests that are made for marijuana offenses across the country every year, African Americans are 3 times as likely to get arrested for pot as whites, though they're more likely to use it. And that's the same as it is on the streets of Seattle here. The 70% of the arrests for possession in Seattle city limits were black people. And there is about a 3% population in the city of Seattle. And look around, I mean, everybody who smokes is white, they do it with impunity. So there's a big problem with racial injustice, and it's inherent in the marijuana laws, and that's one of the reasons why the social change is so important. Next slide, please. And that's why we're paranoid. People are getting arrested still today across the country and harassed even here in Washington State, especially of color. Today, on a less serious note, for those craving Cheech and Chong moments, Tommy Chong's on our national board, along with comedian Bill Maher, Nadine Strawson, the president of the ACLU, Willie Nelson, and Ann Drugan, who was married to late Carl Sagan with the help of Seth MacFarlane of The Family Guy, has just rebooted the Cosmo series. Funny stuff. The involvement of such high-profile activists brings added interest in NORML, and it's kind of cool to be able to send Will Nelson an email when he's rolling through Puyallup and have him meet one of our Pierce County guys in the back with a t-shirt so we can wear it on stage. Yeah, Will's not a mean of what we do, and I've got his email. Offering perspective on more than 4 decades of grassroots advocacy for drug policy reform, like other social justice movements of our time, such as the LGBT rights and equal marriage movements, the story of NORML is documented in records, both affects and reflects changing public opinion. And thanks to our executive director, Alan St. Pierre, who's been on board since 2005, and also the director of the NORML Foundation, our lobbying arm. The archives of the oldest and largest marijuana legalization organization in the world, in our country, are now housed in, probably the world actually, are now housed in the University of Massachusetts Amherst Library's special collections and university archives. The hope is that dutiful UMass students, grad students, and other interested minds from around the country or world will plow through the thousands of emails, reports, and mountains of data that we've collected over the last 4 decades to learn the genesis of the disputes of prohibition, see the mediation process as it's evolved, up to the point now to figure out and watch and find out what happened at the end of cannabis prohibition. NORML's mission is publicly stated to move opinion sufficiently to legalize the responsible use of marijuana by adults and to serve as an advocate for consumers to assure they have access to high-quality marijuana that is safe and convenient and affordable for adults. To be clear, our NORML's charge specifically is to be a public opinion body. We do have some of our members working hard in the halls of Olympia. We have a lot of back-channeling capabilities over the last 2 generations, people calling us, asking us questions. But from our message here, to our message in the media, to our message on the telephones, to whoever we are, it is really just to move the opinion of the greater society towards a more responsible social policy that allows for the marijuana use by adults. Yeah, thank you. As you can see from this graph, in 502, well, the graph in a minute, here in Washington, 502 realized NORML's mission of allowing responsible adult use of marijuana. We're witnessing the end of prohibition. Since the election in 2012, Americans' views on legalizing marijuana have changed dramatically. As you can see from the graph, there's a sharp intersection which indicates that abrupt shift in public opinion in favor of legalization. Now, people ask, what was NORML's role in that change, both here in Washington and around the country and the world? The genesis of 502 is it began in 2008. It was at a NORML conference in San Francisco where Alison Holcomb approached Keith Straub and Rick Steves and a few other people and started talking about legalizing marijuana here in Washington. That ultimately became the New Approach Washington campaign, and NORML endorsed the initiatives wholeheartedly, which we can. Our PAC arm, which is a different branch of NORML, can and does endorse candidates, but our nonprofit can go ahead and endorse initiatives, which not all states are lucky enough to have. Leading up to the election, as many of you know, there were a lot of tensions in the community, but we've got confidence, we always have had confidence that this is going to work out fine for everyone involved. There may be growing pains, but it's going to work out. Philanthropists interested in social reform put this initiative together. The people who funded this initiative on the national scale were Peter Lewis, who now offers a trust fund because he died last year. George Soros. The other half of the money came from Rick Steves, Cody Swift's foundation, the River Styx Foundation, and none of them are interested in making marijuana going into the marijuana industry. So there were rumors out there getting back to the dissension and the tensions that, oh, this is all about people wanting to make marijuana or money off of legalizing pot. But again, it gets back to the social justice issue, and this reform is really an effect of social sculptors. The election night party was off the hook, phones were ringing, people were screaming. The legalization night party that happened at the Space Needle at midnight of 2012, was covered by international media. Part of my job is to direct and manage that media. I don't necessarily want or deserve quotes most of the time, but I definitely know who they need to talk to get the quotes they need, whether it's Vivian McTeague, whether it's Russ Belville, whether it's Allison Holcomb, John McKay, anybody. They can get in touch with us, and indeed they do call NORML for information. And the New Year's Eve party in 2012, I know Russ came up, and I think I gave on CNN or Fox or somebody his name, same with Keith Saunders coming in from Boston, just to let them know, well, here's tourism, it's already begun. You know, they didn't need to see me, I think I was asleep at midnight that night. But anyway, and it was cold out, right? One of the other things NORML does as a political opinion lobby is talk to recently, since 2012's election, the world community about what just happened here. Myself, I've been called by the World Affairs Council, which is an arm of the State Department, twice to talk to representatives from 7 or 8 different South American countries, including Colombia, Puerto Rico, Argentina, Chile, and a few others. And they ask me the same thing, whether it's an elected official from Puerto Rico or special prosecutor to the DEA in Colombia. How can you guys do this? How can you guys legalize marijuana? I mean, how can you do that? The United States has been telling all our countries this is wrong for so long. Well, we did it, and you guys should stick around and watch HempFest, you know, before you go back to your countries and see what really is the social opinion of marijuana. When a group of people can get together and have a big pot party, and people don't care, and it gets bigger and bigger every year, well, the idea of legalization and policy shifting becomes much more tangible and palatable to the public at large. And so, from my meetings here in Seattle with delegates from other countries to Allison Holcomb, currently traveling the world. She may be back from Austria today. She's been to Uruguay, Rome, Poland. Her meeting in Vienna this last weekend was with the UN Council on Drug Policy to take the message of legalization to a larger audience. And the feedback we've been getting, or I've been getting on some listservs, is that this year's UN drug policy meeting went better than most in terms of language revolving around reforming policy. And so this genie's out of the bottle, and whatever you hear in the media, trust me, it's changing. Myself, I did over 30 media interviews last year, sourced and probably duplicated 3 or 4 times to local, international, and had some really fun coverage with the Stoner Bowl bet between Denver's NORML chapter and our NORML chapter. If we lost, we were going to have to get as many people as we could. We've got 20,000 email contacts here in Washington to come together and wear the Broncos colors and sing Rocky Mountain High. So I suggested to them, same thing, they got to wear our colors. They filmed the video last week, and they're going to be singing Jimi Hendrix' Purple Haze. Yeah, so we'll get that up as soon as we can. Because of legalization, the cannabis industry is currently at this intersection of social and public policy issues that we've been monitoring and affecting and kind of facilitating for the past decade here in the state, 40 years around the country. The cannabis does not legalize itself, and NORML, like everyone else, needs support. We don't really have a product to sell. Our goal is to have actual paid lobbyists, not people who want to be lobbyists, but actual people whose job is to be a lobbyist in every state over the next few years, to bring consumer advocacy to the rest of the nation. Now, bridging consumer advocacy with the cannabis industry is NORML's mission at this moment. And starting here today, starting in Denver next week, And by the time all the licenses are rolled out, we'll be introducing a normal business ship partner, which again to steal the phrase from us, is going to be like a good housekeeping seal of approval on your product. It doesn't matter if you're Diego PLCA or Sitka or Magical, if you're not in the medical marijuana industry, if you have never had a product in a store before, nobody is going to know who your brand is. How do you set your brands apart when there's going to be 4,000 different brands out there, 2,000 different brands out there, just out of the gate? This business partnership with NORML would seek to offer mutually beneficial, a mutually beneficial association. It allows your enterprise to set an example of corporate social responsibility and show that you guys are serious about helping end marijuana prohibition. Retailers, producers, processors, all entrepreneurs enter this emerging industry will see that it's going to be kind of difficult to set your business apart from other similar businesses. And nobody has any brand awareness. Whether it's a retail store or an ancillary business, you need to look for ways to achieve a marketing advantage over similar businesses. And there's really no better way to do that than to have the NORML seal of approval stamped on your product. I mean, when people walk into the pot stores for the first time, that's the brand they're going to go towards. I wish we could sell NORML branded cigarettes, but Keith said no. I'd be all over that. Wow. Talked about brand recognition, but really it's in keeping with the consumer advocacy. And this brand will allow businesses to illustrate they've got good social mores and values, along with being fine capitalists. An endorsement by NORML into your product will prove to be a valuable investment for your business. You'll gain a competitive advantage by displaying the NORML seal, a logo exclusively for use by NORML business members and partners. It'll give you a more positive brand image as a good corporate citizen, like I mentioned, that's building corporate loyalty or consumer loyalty. You'll have expanded market shares in your stores by offering products that enhance its social visibility. You'll be listed on the NORML website, which is ranked 12,000 on the Alexia rankings in the United States, 52,000 globally out of the millions of websites that are out there. We have over 1 million followers on our social networks combined between Facebook and Twitter, and all of the business partners will have access to that type of marketing. If a business is carrying a NORML seal, it means NORML has determined that the business meets certain certification criteria, and this goes above and beyond what the states are going to require. You know, for instance, in Denver, they don't require quality control testing on their products. But if you're going to have this seal of approval, you're going to be quality controlling, quality testing your products. So again, it's going to really set a standard where really there isn't one right now. It means you can use your business as a tool. It'll mean to the consumer that you're going to use your business as a tool for positive change. When they come in, they know they're not just talking to someone who is only interested in the bottom line, but is also, again, a responsible corporate citizen. The products they're supporting are going to help to support law reform, which are going to help reform laws and social policy. And it also shows that you've got a commitment to extraordinary practices that benefit workers, whether it's hiring minorities or minorities with a prison record for drug sales, which would be ideal. Consumers, communities, and the environment. It just shows you're going a step beyond some of the potential criteria that we're discussing, and we'll have this ready for prime time by the time we're all ready for prime time. There's a discount if you're a retail store and you offer a discount to veterans or disabled people. That would be an asset. If you offer fair pricing, if you offer good customer service, and a fine variety of products. If you have products and containers that have tests performed on them to prove that they have a certain resistance to children, which goes above and beyond the state mandated, like the seals on the evergreen early chocolates, keeping kids from eating over them easily. Anything that you can show consumers that illustrates your social responsibility will lend itself to this marketing. There's dietary restrictions on sodas, if you offer organic, gluten, edible products, you know, who you're certified by, who is your quality control company, have they jumped through all the hoops, are they a reputable quality control company? Because again, down in Denver and Colorado, they don't even offer required quality control. So one of the things that we want to also bring into this new industry in the arena is to hope that as a responsible business person who respects the environment, like Citgo wants to offer recyclable products, recyclable packaging, etc. And the commitment to this type of seal approval will also lend your company the opportunities to fundraising opportunities with NORML, whether it's helping to sponsor a private dinner or a large public event. It'll also show that you are serious about assisting with community building activities, that actively support teen prevention campaigns, and you carry literature and also educate consumers on principles of responsible use. This is something that NORML's offered cannabis consumers for years, and it's something that we think everyone in the industry should subscribe to. NORML board of directors have adopted these principles that say when marijuana is used and enjoyed responsibly, subjecting users to harsh criminal and civil penalties provides absolutely no public benefit and causes terrible injustices. For reasons of public safety, public health, economics, and justice, the prohibition laws should be repealed to the extent that they do not criminalize responsible adult use. And so, if you're offering a marijuana product, you want to make sure it's for, next slide please, adults only. Cannabis consumption is for adults. It's irresponsible to provide it to children. Many activities are not suited for kids. You don't let them drive cars, or enter into contracts, or get married. And they probably shouldn't be using drugs, marijuana, or even coffee for that matter. It's unrealistic to demand any kind of lifetime abstinence from anything, but as a child, our expectation and hope for young people is that they grow up to be responsible adults, and it's our obligation as parents and business owners to demonstrate what that means. And no driving. Now, obviously, 502 has the DUI limit, which was, getting back to the beginning of this ramble, one of the things that caused contention. Hasn't turned out to be the bloodletting that it was rumored to be, which is a good thing. But again, we always had confidence that it wouldn't. While blood tests have increased around the state dramatically, and the people found driving with marijuana in their system has increased dramatically because they are now doing THC drug testing mandatory on all blood draws, the actual DUI rate in the state has declined. So that's a good thing. Shows that adults are using cannabis responsibly. A responsible cannabis user doesn't operate a motor vehicle or dangerous machinery right after the dabs, or anything that would impair them. Like responsible citizens, being impaired by any substance, whether it's cough syrup or marijuana or alcohol, you just shouldn't drive. Set and setting is also something that we promote as responsible adults. In other words, you're not going to light up at the bus stop just to make a man mad, just because you think you can now. God bless our public party we had in 2012 under the Space Needle, but we really didn't put our logo on that. There was some discussion at the board level whether or not we should. Alan thought it'd be a great idea. Keith didn't think it would be. But we went ahead and threw a party, and lots of people showed up. And, we do that. We like to walk behind the curtain sometimes. But set and setting, the responsible cannabis user will carefully consider his or her set and setting and regulate use accordingly. Set refers to the consumer's values, attitudes, experience, and personality. Especially coming into the new retail world, there's going to be a lot of people who maybe haven't smoked pot since college. They'll be going to church next day, and their wife said, yeah, you can go buy some pot because it's legal now. And they're going to have different morals and values than a gangbanger who's been singing weed for the past 20 years. To the extent that set it reflects those attitudes, a good business owner would be mindful of those. A good citizen is mindful of other people in society, period. Setting, of course, means the customer's physical and social circumstances, where you're at, and bus stops might offend other people in the bus, might offend other people. Vapor pens in an airplane bathroom are okay, I think. one of the next things we want to talk about in regards to responsible use. The use of cannabis, to the extent that it impairs health, personal development, or achievement, is abuse, to be resisted by responsible cannabis users. And to be sure, abuse means harm. Cannabis use is relatively benign. Most of it's not harmful. That use which is harmful should be discouraged. I mean, if you are trying to abuse yourself and you're using cannabis to do it, there's always going to be a bigger issue. And obviously you can get addicted to anything and abuse just about anything, whether it's gambling or sex or rock and roll. So we just want to throw that in there to resist cannabis abuse. Now, getting up and smoking around that doesn't necessarily mean abuse. As long as, again, you're not endangering yourself or your family's stability or your job. If cannabis use is targeted, it's essential to set standards and it will help identify it and help you get on a path so that you're not self-destructive. And again, one of the reforms that we've seen with 502 is most of the money goes to education and treatment. And most people, well, okay, treatment's in prohibition. Most mothers would rather see their child, if they're underage and get arrested, go into treatment and still maintain the ability to get financial aid when they go to college, rather than be arrested, especially if you're a minority, at a young age, and then you're in the system. So, our next slide would be to respect the rights of others. The responsible cannabis user does not violate the rights of others. You observe accepted standards of courtesy and public proprietary rules. Can't smoke in here, respect that. And you respect the preferences of those who wish to avoid cannabis entirely. You don't blow it in your face. No one may violate the rights of others. That's just kind of a living, not living rule. We apply to cannabis. No substance use excuses any such violation of someone else's personal space, regardless of the legal status of cannabis. Responsible users will adhere to emerging smoking protocols in public and private places, and we really want to set that standard, and we hope that businesses do as well. And again, by showing the NORML seal of approval, we will demonstrate that you do subscribe to those standards. As a business person must fulfill all the licensing and bonding requirements of applicable jurisdictions, provide all license and bonding information upon request so we can verify that, and periodically we make sure that you still have your license and you're still doing the job you're supposed to be doing, or we'll take the sticker out. Take your star away. Be free of any government action that demonstrates a significant failure to support these principles. So let's say you're getting arrested for something that has ramifications to your marijuana business. It doesn't mean that if you get a speeding ticket or if it's caused by accident, but it's a determination that we have to make as the nature of the violation, whether it's caused or condoned by management, or if it's a direct contradiction to existing law, an oversight of licensing fees, whatever, and it'll all kind of take on a case-by-case basis. And we encourage businesses, again, to keep the sticker, but to honor customer preferences. Customers always right. If they're not happy with the product, don't argue with them. Again, current access points, they don't all operate under the same types of laws and standards, and try to get a refund from one. And some of them will chase you out the door with a gun. Unfortunately, it happened in Eastern Washington, I believe. Avoid involvement by the business or its principles and activities reflect unfavorably on or otherwise adversely affect the public image of NORML and yourself as a business, and everything should be just fine. NORML's brand has established a reputation again for enormous goodwill, and again, NORML is to the marijuana consumer what the seal of good housekeeping is to the toaster. I don't know if that makes sense. But brands such as the AARP and Consumer Reports are also in the same type of consumer protection categories. Support NORML is a way to demonstrate the commitment to provide a quality product and service to your customers. And then, I guess, the buy domestic graphic, just for fun. Of course, we'll all be buying domestically for now, but buy from legal markets if you can. If you love and appreciate what cannabis has done for you in your life, like I do mine. I'm not going to steal this quote. This is actually from Andrew, who again is on our advisory board, Carl Sagan's ex-wife. If you love and appreciate what cannabis has done for you in your life, she says, like I do mine, then please give back to this most remarkable plant. Since you can't literally donate to the plant, donate to NORML, who is the embodiment of such in our lifetime. If you love ganja, you've got to love and support NORML, because NORML exists to support the plant and its faithful consumers. That's Andrew again. And with that, I hope that when everyone gets lined up and they fire that starting gun, I wish you all the best of luck, and I certainly hope you subscribe to these responsible use standards and NORML guidelines and get their seal of approval, because it really will set your products apart from others on the shelf. Thank you.